Hi, this is the last lecture in Unit 2, and in this lecture, we are going to see about Gibbs-Helmholtz equation and activation energy. So, Gibbs-Helmholtz equation is a very important equation, and it clearly explains the free energy change and enthalpy change with the temperature at constant pressure. Almost this equation relates first law, second law, and the terms involved in first law, second law, everything with delta G. It's the derivation. So consider the following relations. G is equal to H minus Ts. This is the mathematical representation for Gibbs free energy. And we will also take the mathematical representation of enthalpy. H is equal to E plus PV. So substitute this enthalpy equation into Gibbs free energy equation. The above equation becomes G is equal to E plus PV minus T into S. See here all where P, V, T, S are changing. So for infinitesimally small change, dg is equal to dE plus P into dV plus V into dP. So we have to differentiate all the terms. P into dV plus V into dP minus T into ds minus S into dt. Take this as equation 1. According to first law and second law of thermodynamics, dE is equal to dQ minus P into dV, and second law dQ is equal to T into ds. So here we are replacing dQ by T into ds. So the above equation becomes dE is equal to T into ds minus P into dV. So we have to substitute T into ds minus P into dV by dE to the equation 1. So the equation becomes dg is equal to V into dP minus S into dt. See here we are measuring this equation at constant pressure. So the term dP is equal to 0 and the equation 3 becomes dg is equal to minus S into dt. So substituting in equation 5, G is equal to H minus Ts, we get G is equal to H plus P into differential of dG by dou T at constant pressure. We can also measure this equation at constant temperature with the help of Helmholtz equation, and this is one form of Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. This is a applications of Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. It is used to calculate the enthalpy change for a reaction. Delta H we can easily measure the delta H value for this reaction if we know all other terms, that is Gibbs free energy, G, pressure, volume. If we know all other terms, it is very easy for us to calculate the delta H value for a reaction. It is used to find out the EMF of a reaction. We know that delta G is equal to minus NFE, and from this equation, if we know the delta G value, it is easy for us to calculate the E naught value, that is the EMF of a reaction. It is used to calculate the change of enthalpy of a reaction occurring at different temperature. So if they give two different temperature T1 and T2 and delta G, it is easy for us to calculate the change in enthalpy of a reaction. And it is used to calculate the entropy change in a reaction. And these are some of the applications of Gibbs free energy. And our next topic is activation energy, and we know there is a minimum amount of energy that is required for a reaction, that is activation energy E. And there is a small example for the activation energy. Just as a ball cannot get over the hill from it does not roll up the hill with enough energy. A reaction cannot occur. In the same way, a reaction cannot occur unless the molecules possess sufficient energy to get over the activation barrier. So it has to have some energy barrier to overcome, and it has to overcome it. After that only it is converted into a product. So it has to have minimum energy to get over the energy barrier, and that is called activation energy. It's a minimum amount of energy required for a reaction. And it is explained by Arrhenius equation. This equation relates Increase in temperature results in increase in the rate of rate constant. And this is the Arrhenius equation. K is equal to A into e power minus Ea by RT. Here K is the kinetic rate constant at temperature T, and A is the activation energy, R is the gas constant, T is temperature, and A is the collision factor, and E is the base of logarithms. From this Arrhenius equation, how do you determine the value of A and Ea? A is the collision factor and Ea is the activation energy. So if you apply ln on both sides of this equation, ln K is equal to ln A minus ln and E gets cancelled, so minus Ea by RT. So this is the equation. They've considered this equation as y is equal to mx plus c, and if they plot the graph between ln K and 1 by t, the graph is like this, and the slope is minus Ea by R, and the intercept is ln A. From this, they can easily measure the value of A and Ea, that is the collision factor A and the activation energy. And this is the experimental measures of frequency factor and activation energy. If we know the K value at two different temperature, it is easy for us to determine the Ea value. So for two different temperature, they've rearranged the equation as ln K2 is equal to minus Ea by R 1 by T2 plus ln A, and ln K1 is equal to minus Ea by R 1 by T1 plus ln A. And rearrange the equation. Finally, they will get ln of K2 by K1 is equal to Ea by R in 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. With the help of this equation, they've easily measured the value of activation energy at two different temperatures. And this is the energy diagrams for the activation energy of a forward reaction. And for the forward reaction, the delta H value is exothermic. Always the forward reactions occurs with the release of heat, so that it is called as exothermic reactions. For exothermic reaction, the value of delta H is negative. And this is the activation energy of reverse reaction. Always the reverse reactions occurs by taking up the heat. So it is called as endothermic reactions. So for endothermic reaction, delta H is positive. So this is the activation energy of forward reaction and its enthalpy. This is the reverse reaction and its enthalpy change. Next, they've introduced, from this activation energy, they've introduced the process catalysis. A catalyst increases the rate of reaction by providing an alternate mechanism in which it is lower Ea. So when they've used a catalyst, it lowers the activation energy of a reactant so that it easily cross over the energy barrier and all the reactants are converted into products. Here they've taken an example of the reactions taking place in the ozone. Here it is catalyzed by chlorine. And this is some of the expected questions from this topic. And at last, you can able to acquire knowledge on Gibbs-Mols equation and activation energy. Thank you.